Greetings or bright suns, travelers. You're flying with Pod Squadron podcast. All wings report in. This is Andy Pod Job standing by.
This is Tracy Pod Tracer standing by.
All ships to attack formation. Mission objectives to talk about Star Wars in movies, streaming, animation, books, themed experiences, and your art and inspiration from a galaxy far, far away. Today's flight plan includes a little bit of Star Wars news, as well as Star Wars Tales of the Jedi. We just got a new trailer. We can talk about that. And of course, we're going to be catching up on The Bad Batch Season 3, Episodes 8 and 9. And for all of you out there, all comm channels are open. Follow us on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. Find us on YouTube, like and subscribe, and hit the bell icon so you know when we have new content. But first, I'm your squad leader for today. I'm Andy Lowe, aka the Chinese Pirate, director, storyteller, puppeteer, performer, and fight choreographer. And on my wing is Tracy.
Hi, I'm Tracy, also known as Hot Nerd Girl. I was waiting for my chance to say, but first with you, and I kept messing it up. As usual, my timing was off.
And of course, we are just one squad in the fleet. We are part of the Geekish Network. That's right here on YouTube, also on Facebook. As foils to attack position, we are going in. All right, so of course, as you can see, I am coming to you live from Batu, here,
Show
in
off.
Anaheim. Yes, the Millennium Falcon is behind me, docked right here. Yeah, there's this is a kind of good little segue. Of course, if you do not, the Seasons of the Force is about to start up here in Disneyland, and that is kind of annual kind of celebration of May 4th that they do here in Disneyland and Batu and Galaxy's Edge. This is going to be running from April 5th through June 2nd. And they've got a number of things that they're planning to offer over here. They're adding some new missions for Star Tours so that you will be able to have missions with Ahsoka as well as the Mandalorian and Grogu on Star Tours. They're also doing something interesting for the during Season of the Force, is that so the fireworks actually just shoot off right here, right behind these mountains. If you've never experienced fireworks, they are loud and big and they're right on top of you, but they usually don't play the music. They play the music in the rest of the park. They don't play it over here, but apparently they have figured out some way to run the music back here so that it is a Star Wars focused show when you're back here in Batu, and it is the regular show in the rest of Disney. So they've synced up something here. So that's what I understand. I could have that wrong, but that's what they are teasing us. Let's see here. There's
you're
also
not going to experience it tonight, though.
I'm not
it's
going to
not
experience
quite
that
time.
Oh. Actually, I mean, I don't know if they have fireworks on Monday. I haven't checked the schedules yet. They have it every time. The other thing, of course, is Hyperspace Mountain is coming back. So Space Mountain gets a overlay with some video projections so that you are, instead of just hurtling through space, you're in the middle of a dogfight between the Empire and the Rebellion, which is always a really fun, really great overlay. They've also got a few other. They're adding some character experiences. They just announced Sabine Wren will be walking around the park. Of course, they already have Grogu and the Mandalorian and Fennec Shand. And if you're a popcorn bucket lover, there is a really hysterical Jabba the Hutt popcorn bucket. So you
Oh, okay,
open,
that actually sounds kind of cool.
yeah, you open Jabba's mouth and then you reach into his mouth and pull out popcorn. It's less creepy than the sandworm, but
Oh, the
um
Dune one.
yeah.
I
They,
s-
I mean, and
yeah.
if you want, you can use it as a puppet too, because his mouth does open and close. So
I've seen. I know that they're going to be doing like all day airings of Star Wars movies, and people are talking about taking the Dune popcorn buckets to Star Wars to be the Sarlacc pit.
oh, that would work. I can see that.
I still
Um,
don't like the idea of sticking my hand in that though.
yeah, it's just, yeah, we all know what that's for. I'm just saying. Let's see, what else do they got? They got a Millennium Falcon popcorn bucket, a bunch of new merch, some specialty food.
What is
Um,
the appeal of the popcorn buckets, just out of curiosity? Like, do people just collect them and put them on a shelf? Like, what
yeah,
is the deal?
okay, here's the thing is that it's, as far as toys go, they're pretty much the cheapest toy you could possibly get.
They're like
And
$40 though
no, they're like 25. They're like
for a
25 and you
popcorn
get
bucket.
popcorn. Yeah. But if it's like the Millennium Falcon, then you've got the Millennium Falcon and it lights up and stuff, you know?
I got the Millennium Falcon popcorn bucket because I was here at
I can
a
see how some would be cooler than others, but some people,
yeah.
it's like they are with like the pins, which I
Yeah.
also don't understand.
Well, the thing is,
But
for me, I thought it was an actual toy because I was at a collectibles spot. They had 3 there, and it's really close here to my apartment, which is close to Disneyland. And then it wasn't until I showed it on camera that Andy was like, "Oh, you got the popcorn bucket," and I was like, "What?" I literally thought it was a toy. It was like that good, you know? Because I've always wanted to have a Millennium Falcon, but like, the Lego one's like what, $1,000, you know, whatever.
yeah,
So this was like, yeah, it was a collectible, so it was like, they were
but
selling
it lights up. Like that's cool.
yeah,
Yeah.
and it's cool, and it's really, yeah, it's really cool. And then yeah, the worm mussy, and then the Ghostbusters. They have the what do they call it? The trap for the ghosts. They have those as
yeah.
the popcorn buckets.
Yeah, the ghost
Yeah.
trap is awesome. I kind of broke down and got the ghost trap because that thing's pretty cool.
I went to Disneyland like a few years ago, and people were waiting in this insane line to get some kind of rose cup for Beauty and the Beast or something.
Oh,
And I was
yeah.
like, and they were having to give people instructions like you can't get more than 2 or so. And I was like, what is the appeal of the, and they weren't that great. And I was like, what is the appeal of this? I just don't get it.
I mean, there's some, like the craziest one I heard about was in Florida. They had the Figment the Dragon from Journey into Your Imagination. When they released a Figment popcorn bucket, there were like lines and they would like run out within the first hour. And it was just insane because fans love them some Figment. But
It all feels like Beanie Babies to me.
yeah, I mean, I don't see, because I don't know how much of a resale culture there is, because honestly, it's like they're gonna print more or they're gonna make more. So it's like it's not like they run out, right?
Well, I guess
Uh,
in that way, it's more the pins than anything.
yeah, the pins are limited, and that is definitely made to, build a collector culture. But
I don't get it. I mean, I know I collect things, but I just don't get being like so obsessed with like
I
so
mean,
many. I don't know.
isn't your little BB-8 there behind you a sipper cup?
Mm-hmm.
There you
Yeah,
go.
but it's the
Yeah.
only one I have, and it's and I needed a cup for the day in Florida
Right.
that I could get refilled. And so I got the BB-8 sipper cup. But yeah, but literally, okay, here's my one popcorn bucket. My one popcorn bucket was because I went to the world premiere of The Force Awakens and they gave us popcorn buckets. This is the extent of my popcorn bucket collection. And
Yeah,
it's not even fancy.
I will say like Tokyo Disney really has crazy popcorn bucket game. Like to the point that like there is so much detail and so much like heavy plastic in their popcorn buckets. They are full on just replicas of things and stuff.
Like
but
they don't really even fit popcorn.
Oftentimes there are actually a number of popcorn buckets that don't fit popcorn. They actually end up being a popcorn box holder. I will say that I have a popcorn bucket that is a popcorn box holder, and it is a full replica of one of the Disneyland Railroad engine number 1, and it is very detailed with all the wheels and all the bells and all the rivets and everything. It is an incredible little model. And I got to eat popcorn, and I have a model of the Disneyland Railroad. So
You know what? To that I say, to each their own, and at least it's not drugs.
fair enough. But yeah, let's
Although
move
popcorn can be crack.
it can be. Let's. I mean, yeah, it's really a butter conveyance. Let's face it, eating the butter. Popcorn is really just a conveyance. Let's move on to the news. Okay, so we have, of course, there has been okay, well, actually, this is a brand new headline. So the Hollywood Reporter has brought word that the Oscar, Golden Globe, Emmy Award nominee Beau Willimon has been tapped to pen the script for the James Mangold Star Wars film. Now, if you don't remember, James Mangold, who is the director and creator of Logan, the X-Men film,
So
and
good.
and then of course also directed the most recent Indiana Jones film. But he was supposed to be developing a kind of origin of the Jedi film. They're calling it Dawn of the Jedi. And the idea is, what is like, the very first person to be able to tap into the Force or discover the Force. And it sounds like they've tapped the screenwriter to take a draft of the script. He is not new to Star Wars. He actually did 3 episodes of Andor, so that's good. Including the Narkina 5 arc, that was his, so that's good. He's also done other episodes for Netflix House of Cards and a George Clooney project called Ides of March. So that is set to, let's see here. I believe this doesn't say when it's set to release. I think that was set to release in like 2025, but I don't know where it is now after the strikes. But that's kind of exciting. And definitely a credited writer. Yeah. Any thoughts about this, Tracy?
I mean, I always love a good origin story.
Yeah.
So, with the whole, I mean, and we'll get to that with when we talk about Bad Batch, but the whole like M count / midichlorians, like I wonder if they'll kind of go, like the start of like Lord of the Rings, where they kind of go into like this brief history thing, or like the X-Men movies, where they kind of go through like the cells changing or whatever into mutant cells. Like I wonder if they'll do like one of those for like the midichlorians in the blood or something.
I'm also really just curious. I mean, this is supposed to be like 25,000 years before A New Hope, right? And in Star Wars is always like thousands of years or whatever like that. But I also wonder if they might. There has been some fiction written where they kind of allude to that space travel came about in the Star Wars universe because of the advent of the Jedi. That finding hyperspace lanes was all like connected to the Force, and I wonder if
Well, it was
that might
because
be...
they were following the space whales,
right,
right, and connecting to them.
Well, I mean, even before they in some of the old EU stuff, they would say that they didn't know about the space whales yet, but they would say that force sensitive people could foresee or map out hyperspace lanes. So that's another kind of interesting thought of imagining a Star Wars film that maybe isn't quite in space yet.
Can we make a bet right now that'll be on the record that they'll find out that they have a connection to the Force because some kind of animal will like eat out of their hand or something?
Oh yeah. I mean, we've seen that with like
I'm
Ezra
putting
Bridger
$2 on it, guys. I'm putting $2 on it.
Yeah, so that's coming up. That's on the horizon. Next up, there has been more releases regarding Acolyte. This is the Leslie Headland series. There's an Empire Online feature that has released more photos and stills from the most recent trailer that was released. This is, so the Acolyte, this is the first screen project that is set in the High Republic era. So that's about 100 years before Phantom Menace. We have a whole cast of brand new Jedi, and although it's they have confirmed that Rebecca Henderson is playing the character Vernestra Rowe, who you might remember from the first phase of the High Republic. She was the green one, bald-headed, and apparently played. Yeah, Rebecca Henderson is also Leslie Headland's wife. So yes, she's quoted as saying, "I absolutely love Vernestra. You can tell because I cast my wife." So yeah,
I need to marry a director so you can be in some Star Wars.
I know, right? Yeah, I mean the images are really cool. Okay, looks like we're scrolling through some of them. You see actually the girl with the white face there.
Yeah.
I think that's what's her name who played X-22.
Oh,
Yeah, Stephanie
okay.
Keane.
Thank you, Stephanie Keane.
Daphne Keane, yeah.
And was also in His Dark Materials.
His Dark
I believe.
Materials, yeah.
Right?
She was the main character in His Dark Materials.
Yeah.
And yeah. It's exciting.
Yeah. It's I mean, yeah, I mean everything we're seeing of this, it looks very interesting. This is of course
you go.
There's Vernestra Rowe, and also joined by the actor from Squid Games, who apparently had to learn all of his dialogue phonetically because he doesn't actually speak English.
If Bela Lugosi can do it, he can do it.
There you go. Yeah, more of those yellow lightsabers. This is another interesting thing. So they're saying that Vernestra has converted her purple lightsaber so that its blade can also become a light whip.
Ooh, fancy.
Yeah, so we got some new Jedi weaponry.
Do you have to be a bald Jedi to have a purple lightsaber?
Or just a bad motherfucker.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm stoked. I'm looking forward to this. The trailer looked great. The action looks great. I think also just really finally getting to kind of deliver on just like the Jedi at their prime, at their height, right? And perhaps seeing kind of an origin story for why the Jedi Order became the Jedi Order that we saw in the prequels. So
yeah. Only to fall.
Only to fall. Yes, all things.
All great empires do.
All right, that's our news. We're gonna jump into the Bad Batch season 3, episodes 8 and 9. We're gonna start with episode 8, Bad Territory.
Andy, did you want to talk about the Tales of the Empire trailer?
Oh, did I? Oh shoot, yes, I missed this.
Yeah.
Sorry,
no worries.
Skip right over that. So there was also another trailer for Star Wars Tales of the Empire, and this is of course the follow-up to last year's Tales of the Jedi. This is the kind of short.
Has this been directed by Zack Snyder?
What? Zack Snyder?
The cover of this Empire magazine says Zack Snyder, the director, faces your burning questions.
Well, no, he
I
will
think
not.
that's just the cover of the Empire
Oh,
magazine. So there's probably like another story in there. It's not
okay.
all Star Wars. Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
What's the name of his Netflix
Rebel
Rebel
Moon.
Moon?
Rebel Moon,
Yeah,
yeah.
Rebel
I
The
think
Moon.
second
Rebel
one's coming
Moon
out
is supposed to
soon
be
or
coming
something.
out soon. I haven't watched it. I don't know. I don't know if I can
Yeah,
take it.
yeah. I have no interest in watching it. Yeah.
I watched it.
Did you have
Okay.
fun?
You can skip it.
That's what I've heard.
I mean, it was kind of fun, but it was also parts of it were fun and parts of it were just like,
Now, can you see the Star Wars in it? Because in theory, that they say that Rebel Moon was built from his pitch for his Star Wars idea.
for sure. You can definitely see where it was supposed to be Star Wars, and they were like, "Oh, we can't have the Star Wars name. We'll just do this." And like, but yeah, there's like a gal who's basically like a ninja, and she's got like two like laser swords. I mean, it's like it's totally, you can totally tell that it was supposed to be a Star Wars thing, or it feels like Star Wars fan fiction, I guess. But like there's some parts where you're just like,
But with
what?
slow
You know what? Okay, you know
motion.
what it's kind of like? You know when Justice League first came out and it was like a really funky edit and you were like, what the hell? And then you watch like the Zack Snyder cut and you're like, okay, well, this makes more sense, but it's still kind of like feels like it was chopped up a little bit.
Yeah.
It feels like there's things that ended up on the cutting room floor that shouldn't have ended up on the cutting room floor or something.
Interesting.
There's a lovely gentleman behind you. Show us your butt.
Yeah. Lots of folks taking photos of the Falcon.
Who, that's your
I
friend?
mean, that's the thing. You know,
Oh.
the Zack Snyder, he has so much visual style, but sometimes
But
it's
no
just he
soul.
prioritizes that visual style over storytelling or character.
Over everything, really.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And yeah,
But
you know, I mean, I love 300.
Oh,
There's
I do. I love
parts that I
300.
love about the Watchmen, even though I feel like it kind of
I loved
undoes the
Watchmen
purpose
too.
of the Watchmen.
Because it's missing the giant squid.
No, actually, I actually really, you know, I actually kind of prefer the not giant squid. I kind of dig
Rude.
the idea of Dr. Manhattan basically being vilified, and that you know that was kind of neat to me. And I know I'm probably in a minority for that, but like if the whole point is the superheroes are not super, right? Like
Yeah.
these are just human beings who are kind of self-glorifying themselves. And when you go into all the slow motion with all the superhero fight sequences, it does make them glorified, and there's nothing to kind of ground it that these are self-serving people.
Oh, I see. I actually kind of liked it because it felt very frame for frame with the graphic novel.
Yeah, yeah, it
So,
does. But
and I'm actually not
it
that
should
mad
also be
about
messy, right? I mean, there's
Yeah.
a bit of messiness that I was craving in those moments. So,
I just
anyways,
missed the side story of the boy with the newspaper stand was my biggest thing. But I
yeah,
understand it's easy to cut.
but so back to Tales of the
Sorry, I
Empire.
digress.
Yeah, so this is so last year they had Tales of the Jedi. We had like 6 stories from the untold stories from the history of Ahsoka and the history of Count Dooku. And then we knew that a season 2 of Tales of the Jedi was being worked on, but then at the last minute they pulled the rug out from under us, and it was announced that it's actually Tales of the Empire. And this is pretty sick. You know, the I mean, you want to kind of describe kind of some of the teases, Tracy?
No.
No.
I don't think I watched it.
Oh, you haven't seen it?
No.
Oh,
I think
okay.
it was posted in the thread, but I was working all day, so I didn't.
Got it.
Yeah.
Um, Fair enough. So some
no,
of
Andy,
the
no, I would not.
some of the very exciting things is that finally they're delivering on Barriss Offee, finding out what happened to her when Order 66 went out, and of
Mm.
course she was in
The
jail
librarian?
for
Was she the
no
librarian?
Barriss
Oh.
Offee is it was Ahsoka's, she was the Padawan of Lunestra. um
I have to see a picture. I'm
she's the one
blanking.
who framed her,
Oh, okay. Okay.
right? So yeah,
I'm
and
back.
so
I'm
they're
back.
kind of teasing kind of what happened to her. She seemingly gets recruited into the Inquisitors, and we get to see more of Jason Isaacs as the Grand Inquisitor, which is great because I love Jason Isaacs uh in that role. um they also teased a little bit more of Asajj Ventress. So yeah, it's the trailer's good. Check that out.
Okay.
Definitely.
I will. Thank you, Andy.
Yeah. How about you, Rodney? Anything jump out for you, or that you got excited for with
I was just really surprised by how they switched it on us, like you said. They'd be
yeah.
surprised how sneaky it was. Because remember, even in our group chat, I was like, "Wait, did they announce this?" And then it's like, "Oh no, they're just really sneaky, and they did it." So that was cool. And then the fact that they're covering Morgan Elsbeth, and
Yes, I forgot about that.
covering Morgan Elsbeth, and
And bringing Diana Lee
Leah
Innocento back.
Santos back is like that's just cool to me, because you know how much I love the fact that she's Filipino and
Yeah.
all that stuff. So
Well, and also getting to establish her relationship with Thrawn too, right? Because we just know that she is the one of the last surviving Night Sisters, who all, of course, were all killed by essentially the Empire or the Republic at the time, right?
Yeah.
But always kind of wondered, like, so how does she sign up with Thrawn? So we'll get to see that.
Yeah, more backstory, into a character that I really started to really like, the better,
Yeah,
for me.
indeed. So that is, I believe that is dropping on May 4th. So that will be coming up very soon. All right.
Yay.
Is that all our news? Am I good?
Looks like it.
All right. So moving on to Bad Batch season 3, episodes 8 and 9. We're starting out with episode 8, Bad Territory. Tracy, do you wanna give us a little recap?
Ooh, sure. Okay, so we get Wanda Sykes back, right? She
Mhm.
plays Fee Genoa, aka Liberator of Ancient Wonders. And she is contacting the Bad Batch, reporting that bounty hunters have been retrieving M count targets for the Empire. So Hunter and Wrecker, much to Omega's dismay, leave her behind and travel to a distant planet to find Fennec Shand, which was totally Omega's idea, by the way, but whatever. Hoping that she'll have the information that they're seeking, because they already kind of have some kind of established, I don't know if I want to say relationship with them, but they know that she didn't continue to pursue Omega, but they don't really know why, right? And they don't know that she had been hired by Nala Se, and that's why it was cut off, because Nala Se figured that Omega was safer with the Bad Batch. So anyway, I digress. So she agrees to help, but on the condition that they secure her own elusive target, Sylar Saris, who is apparently the slayer of Ordo Eris. I think we've seen them before. So I played the Fallen Jedi game, and there's a part where he gets kidnapped and he's in this arena, and no, I'm sorry, I'm thinking of the Haxian. So the Sylar Saris killed like two of like the main Haxian like gang, I guess. and took all their money and then fled. And no other bounty hunters have been able to catch him. So, but in the Fallen Order Jet, I cannot talk right now, you guys. In the video game, Cal gets kidnapped by the Haxians and has to like fight in this arena. So we kind of already know like about the Haxians, but so Sylar Saris is basically like a giant praying mantis, which we've seen before. It's like the Yamri
Seen other giant bugs, right?
Yeah, yeah. And apparently he lives in an alligator swamp. So
Apparently, yeah, they go to the Louisiana Bayou planet.
yeah. I was half expecting to see like a little talking firefly, a lightning bug flying around. But he has a rad knife. So that knife was pretty cool. It's like all glowy and things. So then they managed to capture him, and Hunter and Wrecker are basically doing all the dirty work for Fennec and disabling underwater mines and all this stuff. And meanwhile, back on Pabu, which I have conflicted feelings about this, because on one hand, like Omega is still a child, but on the other hand, she talks about how she's technically older than her brothers. So, but Hunter's like basically like tells her to like psychoanalyze Crosshair and like get him to go to the doctor. And Easy, the little robot guy, is like, hey, there's nothing wrong with you, dude. It's all in your head. So then Omega takes him on like this like spiritual journey of meditation and everything. But what I loved was she said that it was Gunji who taught her how to meditate on Kashyyyk, which is he's the little Jedi Padawan from the Wookiee race.
With the little snaggletooth.
With the snaggletooth. I almost wore my Wookiee hat today in honor of Gunji, but it just looked weird, so I wore this hat instead. Anyway, so then the episode ends with Fennec saying, like, well, I don't have the information, but I'll get it for you. You're just gonna have to trust me. And then she's talking to like this garbled voice that we aren't supposed to know who it is, but kind of already guessed.
Right. Yeah, so this episode, I mean, I thought it was fun. I mean, it's it's a little bit of a side quest, and and it does fit the format of many the Bad Batch episodes, where it's like, we need the thing. Well, we're gonna have to talk to so and so to get it. Oh, okay. Well, we're going. If you want the thing, then you got to do a thing for me. Oh,
classic Star Wars story.
Yeah, right? Pretty much. But yeah, I mean, it was kind of fun to see this whole new Bayou planet, with the space alligators, or the the space gators that they end up having to fight off. The whole idea
is very Neverland.
Yeah, I mean, and then like yeah, the whole conceit of all of the mines that they end up having to disarm, and Fennec's like, I'm not going to water. That's you guys.
Oh, and also when they first meet up with her, it's like it's in a bar, and she's talking to what is it? Rodian, right?
Oh yeah,
like
Rodian.
kind of like Greedo, and there's a fight with an Aqualish at the beginning as well, and those both harken back to A New Hope.
Yes,
and when they
again
enter
with
the
the
bar,
Aqualish starting bar fights.
Yeah.
Aqualish are like the Irish of the Star Wars universe. Getting the bar
I mean,
fights.
they even have like the big mustaches, like
there you
walrus
go.
mustaches.
Yeah, I also, I mean, yeah, I find it interesting, all the interplay between Crosshair and Omega. They've really softened Crosshair down in this, and it's just kind of interesting to kind of see their banter evolve, right? And you're definitely seeing a much more vulnerable and kind of caring side to Crosshair in this. That, and also, yeah, just okay, so in voice acting, basically voice actors, there are whole classes on how. Okay, so the hardest thing in acting for voiceover is what they call efforts, right? And efforts are just kind of like when you're making audible noises, but you don't have dialogue, right? And in a very simplistic thing, yeah, it's like when you do fights, or you're like, you're running and you're like right, there's that
Yeah.
stuff too. But the hardest stuff and the more important stuff are like those reactions, those like those sighs, or those just like, when you realize something, you're like, huh, like stuff like that. And with with Crosshair, there's so many of these efforts, because Crosshair is supposed to be, you know like, doesn't talk a lot, but he just has all these sighs, like so many D. Bradley Baker doing these.
Yeah, like all those little grunts,
Yeah.
growls.
So that was something I was definitely noticing, just, how they're having to play with that, and, his reactions to, well, this is where they also had the line, where she says, she wants to get him to do the meditation, and they're like, I have a feeling I'm not gonna like it, and she says, you don't like anything.
Yeah.
And he's like, ah.
Yeah. Yeah, she was kind of channeling some Yoda there.
Yeah, yeah. And also just kind of an interesting, little tease that she's intuiting Force too, right? That she picked up this meditation um from another Padawan, and had no idea that it might be, you know, channeling her mind.
Hmm. I like when she corrected his hand, like he had his fist clenched, and she was like, "Hey, do this."
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
Yeah. That's some nice little touches with this,
Yeah.
as they kind of continue to develop these relationships.
Which, okay, this is the first time we're seeing Fee since Tech died, and she mentioned Tech, but she didn't seem sad about the fact that he had died, and
I
I was a
mean,
little like,
I'm sure
I was like,
she is, though. I mean, they played up that connection last year, so we know she's bummed,
well,
but
she didn't look it. Her noises that she was making did not imply that she missed Tech.
she got to move on, uh,
There's my own contribution.
um, let's see here. Anything else I want to mention? I do. I mean, there have been fun Wrecker moments, but I feel like Wrecker's been doing kind of the least this season.
Well, I mean, he's basically a giant Labrador retriever.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
But
I mean, he's the weapons expert, right? Like he's the one
Mhm.
disabling all these bombs. He's the one that, yeah.
Oh,
So, I
certainly.
mean,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah,
And of
he's
course he
got
can,
just a different kind of intelligence.
and he gets to rustle an alligator, so that's fun. So yeah, so this episode pretty much tees up the next one. Do we want to get into episode 9?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right. Lay it on.
Okay, so we are back on Pabu, and Batcher runs off, and Omega runs after him into this cave, but Batcher's freaking out, and Omega's like, Batcher, we've been in this cage a million times. What's the problem? And then she's like, wait, there's a ship. And Batcher like runs off and hides, which is, I feel like not very Batcher. Like, I feel like Batcher would stay there and defend Omega, but whatever.
But that's the thing. Listen to the dog. The dog always knows
Well,
when there's a bad
okay,
vibe.
okay. But so then she turns around and we see, haha, Asajj Ventress, and she's kind of got the hairdo that she has in the books, where she, oh, who was it? It was the Jedi that was in
She's got that
the
fade.
Obi-Wan
She's got
series.
the shaved side.
Quinlan Voss.
Yeah.
Like if you look at those books, like she's got that, they gave her that hairdo. So that was kind of cool. And we know from the past that she's a dark side acolyte of Dooku who has become become a bounty hunter. So The other clones are like, they kind of recognize her, but they're not 100% sure. They just know that there's something off about her. So they go and consult Tech's archives, and they're like, oh yeah, this is Asajj Ventress. They actually like start to fight her at one point. Okay, hold on. I'm getting ahead of myself. So Omega, like she's sent there by Fennec, right? And Omega's like, oh yeah, it's for my friend. And then she slips and admits it's for her. And she basically asks Asajj Ventress, hey, can you stay and tell me if the reason why they're hunting me is true, that I have this high M count. And so Asajj is like, okay, can't resist like the pleading of a little kid. I'll do it. And she sends Omega off on a mission. So, and then she can talk to Wrecker, Hunter, and Crosshair. And she's basically saying, like, you guys need to like think really hard about this. And then they're like, well, we know who you are. Let's fight. And she's like, oh, boys. So, and we see her bust out the yellow lightsaber, which we know that her red lightsabers were taken away. But I like that because the yellow is kind of neutral, right? It's not good. It's not evil. It's just sort of like she's looking out for herself now, right? And the best line that she gives is, she says, we were pawns in the same war and we all lost.
Mm.
And I think that was after Omega came up and saw her like force choking Wrecker,
Right.
like, and she's just like, oh, what's going on? So in the end, so then they do one more test, and they go out in this boat, and we see for the first time, like, I don't really remember ever seeing somebody who is technically dark side really having connection with animals, right? And we get to see Ventress having connection with a lot of animals, whether it's these sort of little glowing fish or the giant kraken creature that comes out. But she's really like connecting with them in a way that does not feel dark side at all.
I mean, it kind of echoes back to from Rebels, right? When he was first experimenting with the Force, and connecting with those like giant bat creatures, right? Remember that? I mean, and it was
Yeah.
kind of, at first it was kind of like, is this like kind of wild or untamed? Am I kind of losing control of things? And then over time, as he kind of honed it, it became, less. He didn't trust. He didn't not trust it as much, right?
Yeah. Okay.
I mean, it's
Yes.
interesting because I actually haven't read that book with her and Quinlan Voss. But I mean, from what I understand, the whole idea is that Quinlan comes out to her asking for help to assassinate Count Dooku, which she was more than happy to oblige because, he screwed her over. But she's like, okay, well, you got to learn, if you want to beat a dark side person, you got to learn a bit about the dark side.
Yeah.
And of course, Quinlan takes lessons from her. And then, of course, he in turn starts teaching her some of the Jedi way. And then they fall in love.
And then she sacrifices herself for him, right?
Right.
And
Right.
I think it was like the Dark Sisters are the ones that bring her back, right? The Witches of Dathomir.
I don't think we know how she's come. I mean, we don't yet know how she's back.
I think it's the Witches of Dathomir. I'm pretty sure. I think.
I mean, it would make sense, but I don't think that scene has
correctly.
been. I don't think that scene has actually been portrayed anywhere yet, because that was a big surprise to people that she's appearing here in the Bad Batch.
Oh, Johnny is saying that she is supposed to be dead. I thought I remember something about her being brought back to life by.
I think people are kind of
witches.
speculating that she could be brought back to life, because we've seen the witches bring other characters back to life as well. But I don't think they've actually canonized that story yet.
I can see it in my head though. I feel like I've seen this.
Like on the screen?
Anyway, somebody no, yeah, it was on screen. It was animated. Like, it was not in the book. It was animated.
I don't think they have, because that story was supposed to, the story with her and Quinlan was supposed to happen in the next season of of the Clone Wars, and then it got canceled, and then they use that story. They use the screenplays to write the book, but they haven't really done anything else with her since that.
Maybe I'm picturing something else where
Hmm.
she had something swirling around her. Anyway, I digress. Somebody can correct me. Or not, or tell me I'm wrong. And I dreamt it all in my sleep. Anyway, so in the end, Ventress tells Omega that she does not have the Force, right? She didn't pass the test, and then the guys ask her why she lied, and she said, trust me, you don't want, the Empire's hunting these people. You don't want her to have this, and you should definitely leave because you guys were super easy to find.
Well, so this was also kind of an interesting. I found it an interesting choice of words. Right, they basically set it up that Ventress can see how much the Bad Batch care for her, and they know, and
Yeah.
she knows that if she's going to be trained, she has to leave them behind, and she doesn't want to separate them. So she's
Yeah.
like,
Well, that's definitely part of it too.
yeah,
I think it's all of the above.
yeah.
But she definitely gave Omega a look towards the end of that apple on the head test, right? She
Right.
was looking and was like,
I also kind of wondered. I mean, they did make a big deal of the Kraken thing coming because Omega says, "Did you call that thing?" And she's like, "I didn't try to."
Not intentionally. I love how it had like the glowing green stuff around its mouth too, like it was snacking on
Yeah,
those little glowy green fish. It also had like its eye and its mouth and stuff were also kind of like her serpent um symbol that she wears too, and
right.
that it was kind of squiggly, I don't know.
It was also just like such a, looks like it's like right, like the shot of her being held up by the Kraken and like brought up to its face, and she like puts her hand out and just touches it.
Mhm.
That's like right out of a Dave Filoni sketch pad, you know.
Yeah.
That kind
Aw.
of like, powerful small tiny being dwarfed by, a gentle giant or something, right?
Or a mind controlled giant.
Yeah.
But I
um
mean, we know at some point that Omega's gonna realize that she actually is force sensitive, right?
I mean, I yeah, there was a part of me that watching this whole time was like, oh god, this feels like such a soft pilot. Right, I mean, couldn't you just kind of see, you know Ventress and Omega kind of master and apprentice as like the
Yeah,
counterpoint to Ahsoka and Sabine Wren?
that would be crazy if Asajj Ventress turned out to be Omega's master.
Well, and also just like an interesting, again, we were talking last week about how we're seeing more and more of these yellow lightsabers and what the symbolism is of that. We know that there were yellow lightsabers during the High Republic. uh you know that was like the symbol of the Sentinel Jedi, but the in the modern times, in the by the time the episode 1, it was like only temple guards had yellow, right?
Yeah.
And now Ray has one, and it's interesting. I always just want to see new interpretations of the Force, right? So I'm kind of curious, how would a former Night Sister turned Jedi, or dark side acolyte, um who ended up not going down any of those paths, what is her take on the Force now, right? Because she's essentially had training as a Night Sister, a Jedi, and a Sith, and
That's
is
some
none of the
powerful
above,
lady.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I do like how oh, I just kind of lost my train of thought. Um oh, what was I gonna say? Well, I had another thought of like, like well, the boys being so protective of Omega, right? Like in Wrecker cheering her on and Wrecker looking through the goggles and her like looking right at him and him being like, "What?" Like But I had something else I was gonna say about that, and I can't remember what it was. Oh, when Crosshair said, well, you don't know what she's done, and Omega says, I never stopped believing in you.
Right.
Like I feel like she wants to help me. So kind of throwing it back in his face, right? Like, give us a chance. And when she tells Ventress, like, I know you like us, I can tell. And Ventress is just sort of like, like not acknowledging it.
Yeah, she does her own Crosshair sigh.
Yep.
So yeah, so
Dojo Rat said the sisters did do something like that, and he's gonna have to look it up.
Yeah, I
know
feel
I
like
didn't dream it.
I feel like I know we've seen Night Sisters resurrect like Maul and of course Savage Press.
No,
but
there was something with Ventress. Okay,
I'm
gonna look it up.
Interesting. I will say that
Clone Wars Massacre.
Huh?
Is what he just Clone Wars Massacre.
Is that a episode or arc or?
I think it's an episode. It's an episode.
I do not remember.
It's a first episode in a 4-part storyline about the fate of Asajj Ventress, the Night Sisters, and 2 of the Night Brothers. Okay, so it was just like way earlier. But and they use the talisman to resurrect a lot of dead sisters to fight Grievous and his droid army. The Night Sisters heal Ventress. Okay, so I wasn't smoking crack though. That's the important thing. Okay.
Okay. Well, healed, but she didn't die.
That's before the book. Fair. I was just getting I was crossing my streams apparently.
I am bummed that we don't have Lexi here because I know Lexi was very excited about Asajj, and
that's what she gets for going off to look at the solar eclipse.
Yeah, those bright suns. How'd you like this episode overall?
Though. I liked it. Yeah, I think I liked it better than like the episode with like the kids and all like the little boy clones and all that. I like seeing the connection between Omega and the boys, and it was really fun to see Asajj Ventress come back and be a more fleshed out character who is grown.
Right.
And also, I mean, it's always fun to see Fennec Shand again as well. And we're seeing her kind of pre-Book of Boba Fett when she's still just all out for herself, right? Which I think is what makes a really good bounty hunter right? Is when they're really, really just out for themselves. So just kind of seeing her sassiness with the guys and everything. But it's like, but also like, and I know I talk about the animation style and that I'm just like, I'm not a huge fan of it, but the stories are so good. And the way that they are just kind of filling in the gaps between things and making the universe more whole. I really appreciate that. And I will say that the animation I like a lot better than I did like Clone Wars and stuff like that because it's come a long way.
I mean,
and some of the shots
they
are
have
really
so
beautiful.
much more texture, and I mean they're doing a lot of really fun stuff with the style while still keeping basically the same character models or similar style of character models.
It's growing on me.
Yeah, I mean the other thing too, I mean it's kind of funny, we have like these opportunities to kind of check in with these other characters, right? We get to see Fennec Shand again, we get to see Ventress again. Next week we're going to talk about episode 10. And I'm going to guess most of you have watched this, but Tracy, you haven't watched 10 yet. But you want to know who our guest of the week is?
We're going to have a guest?
Well, another character coming back.
Like, who's our guest?
Right? Because we've had the Fennec Shand episode. We now have the Ventress. Huh?
Is it gonna be me with the mustache? I guess
It's not you with the mustache. It's Cad Bane.
Oh, okay. I figured it
and-
was, but
Yeah, and I love me some Cad Bane. It's not a whole lot. It's like it's just enough. It's just enough Cad
Okay.
Bane being, morally gray, or I guess amoral. I guess, but
when do we get
still
to see
sticking
teenage
to
Boba Fett?
his code. I wondered about that because they did set up. That was a thing in the Clone Wars too, where Boba Fett was mentored by both Bane and Ventress too.
Mhm.
So yeah, I don't know. I don't know if they'll. I mean, it would be interesting to see Boba Fett meet his sister, I guess.
Yeah.
But
Oh, that was the other thing I was going to mention was Ventress was like, I don't see how a clone could be force sensitive and have any kind of M count. And then
Right.
she's like, well, they did make over a billion of you guys. I guess it's possible. Anyway,
Right.
okay. I know we had to go to crosstalk.
Are we ready to go to crosstalk now? Or do we need to stall a little bit more? Okay. Yeah, so of course we will continue on talking about the Bad Batch next week. We'll continue on with episodes 10 and 11. And do we think we're gonna also cover this week's episode as well, Rodney? Yeah.
I think by next week we should be all caught up.
Yeah.
And
So okay, so we
and
will
then,
be caught up by next week.
And
Excellent.
and to you guys out there in chat and everything, we've had so many scheduling sort of challenges, so this is why we're kind of like piecemealing and catching different episodes here and there. So, but hopefully by next week we will be all caught up, and then hopefully Lexi will be with us next week so we can get her take on the Asajj Ventress. Because I know she, like you said, Andy, she really wanted to talk about it. So
Yeah. She could barely contain herself.
yeah.
At least we're all still here and we weren't all raptured today.
Indeed,
Right.
indeed, yes.
True.
All right. So now we've got the gentleman from
Whoa,
Geek
what are we
News.
looking? Oh my God, it's Black Panther's chest. I really was not sure what that was.
Hi. Hello.
Woo, okay.
Tracy got excited
Lord.
there for a sec.
You know it. It was like a sarlacc pit with like a ball sack. I didn't know what was going on. I was very
Oh, Lord.
confused.
Lord,
But I
no.
will take me some Black Panther any day. Rawr.
No, for some reason my camera does that when it goes from like non-zoom to zoom. I don't know why.
Oh, is it like an automatic zoom or
It
like...
just automatic, like the camera zooms in and it's just automatic when I transition from being out of zoom to in zoom or
All right.
something like that.
Right on.
So I don't know. So then I just have to hit the button and it resumes back.
So how are you
Resumes
both
and
tonight?
resumes.
Doing well. How are you
doing
all?
Good. How are you guys doing?
Doing all right. The
Drinking the elky.
the twin moons are coming out over here in Batu,
Uh-huh.
He's
Nice.
actually there right now. That's not a
Mhm.
background.
He's in Batu.
Yep.
You're
He's in
right now?
Batu.
Batu
live
has
from
twin
Batu.
moons
Showing
too.
Nice.
Batu has twin moons as
Grand
well.
Rising.
twin
Yep.
suns and twin
Twin
moons.
moons. Yep.
Okay. Okay. So these binary
Yeah.
stars aren't as uncommon as I thought throughout the galaxy. So Tatooine has a binary star. Batu has a binary star. So then that is unique.
Fake Star Wars Rebel Moon has a binary star.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Well,
so
that's
so
not
ju-
worth
so
mentioning.
you wonder if they have like twin eclipses.
I would imagine they would, right?
That's a
You would
lot of
assume
alignment
that.
there.
Or maybe they come more frequently since
Yeah.
they're twins.
Oh, that's true.
I don't
That's what she said.
Hold on. That's probably
Pause.
true.
Pause.
That's probably what she said.
know. No Diddy. Pause.
Who doesn't come more frequently with twins? I don't know. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Wow.
Sorry. I have to pee. Good night, folks.
Mhm.
So what topics are you guys covering tonight?
We're talking about the moon, actually. We
The
have
moon.
alright.
NASA has a story they discussed how to teach the moon. They actually they actually taught about the moon through Fortnite and Minecraft today.
Hmm.
Ooh.
Mm.
So and we're going to talk about the new Scarlett Johansson movie trailer.
Oh,
Uh,
what movie is
Fly
that?
Me to the Moon. Fly Me
Yeah,
to the
Fly Me to the
Moon.
Moon. With
Yeah.
who is it?
Yeah. It's gonna be very interesting to talk about that trailer.
Yeah.
Uh we're gonna talk about Hatsune Miku. They want refunds from her underwhelming concert. I mean, she is a hologram.
I
She's
don't know who
literally
this
a
is.
I
hologram.
don't
I don't
know
know
who
anything
she
about
is either.
music.
Hatsune Miku. So she's this a J idol that is a hologram. She's a cartoon character. She's like an anime character. And she
And
Even her
performs on
voice and
stages.
everything? Oh.
Yeah,
Huh.
she's somebody
Okay, so
does her
who
voice.
collects the money from the concerts?
The people that own her.
So it's like a company that owns her or something?
There's a company that owns her.
Ah, that's not
She's
creepy
like,
at all.
yeah. So she's been popular for like over a decade now, and she's like the hottest thing. And apparently, people were mad about her concert, and they want their money back.
was
And
it that
this
bad?
was like a live in-person concert.
Yeah, she does lots of live in person
Now,
concerts. It's
now
hologram.
was there a glitch? Did something go wrong, or it was just the quality of the concert?
It was just
I-
underwhelming.
I think it was the quality of the concert.
Wow, interesting.
It's like the same thing that they did with Tupac, that type of hologram.
Kinda. They do that, and they have her in the screen. She's in both.
But she's completely a hologram. Is that what we're saying?
She's completely a character. She's a completely made up character. It's like gorillas. It's like if you go to the gorillas show, and the only people
Huh.
you see from the gorillas are their special guests if they haven't made them in cartoon form.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Huh.
So she's very similar to that. So people are putting her tickets up for resale because the concert doesn't seem that exciting.
So I
But
always
she has video
wondered.
games too. She has video games. She has a
I-
VR video game.
Now, I've always wondered. I mean, do you know is there like a single voice actress who always sings for the character, or is it?
I think
It's AI generated.
I think there is a single voice actor that sings for the character.
Hmm.
They keep all that on hush hush.
I wonder
Yeah.
How
much she's
mad
getting
is
paid.
Milli Vanilli right now?
Right.
Very
They were
mad,
just
very
30,
mad.
40 years, too
Did
early.
you see the J-Lo reveal that a lot of her songs were really a woman that was singing reference for her, and the
Hmm.
engineer turned up the reference track over J-Lo's track
Oh
because the
shit.
reference singer is actually a really good singer.
Of course.
Well, you
That's
know,
not
I mean,
surprising.
this is the thing
Yeah,
too, right? I
yeah.
mean,
Like all
uh,
of her hits are done by somebody else.
Oh,
All
Yeah.
of them.
I believe that.
I mean,
did she
working-
know?
Yeah, she knew. She knew.
Oh,
I mean, she was under Puffy, and Puffy's like, "This was gonna happen. This was gonna make you famous," and it's sent her in the sky.
Wait,
Right? I mean,
so did it come out when Puffy got raided?
nah. Puffy didn't come out with the Puffy said anything yet with her. I'm
And
surprised she's not
Oh.
listed in any of the documents.
oh
Hmm.
Lord.
That's shocking. Yeah. We haven't heard anything from J-Lo. People care to forget they dated for like 6 or 7 years.
No way, I don't
It was
remember
about
that.
2
J Lo
years.
and Puffy.
No, it was a while. It was a while.
It
It
was a
wasn't
thing.
It
It
wasn't
was a
6
thing.
years, but it was a
You
thing.
sure?
It was a thing because they broke up at the shooting at the nightclub in 1999. They weren't together since 19.
I have no
94.
memory of this.
Oh, really? It
Mhm.
was the biggest thing in the world. It was like the
Mhm.
first time a rapper had like a superstar girlfriend. It was
Well-
huge.
Well, that
Well,
and
he-
also, and it was the big deal when they broke up, and then she went and recorded a
Yeah,
song
with-
with Ja Rule.
Yeah,
Mhm.
it was all of those things. Like they were huge for like from 97 to like 98. It's huge.
Y'all, I'm so bad with music stuff. Ask me anything about TV and movies, and I can tell you. Music.
Yeah.
Yeah. They
He basically built her career.
Yeah,
her
he did.
music
The
career stuff.
music, the music
Yeah.
career,
Yeah,
all
he-
the things that she did, it
yeah.
was like through
Yeah,
the
it's under
roof.
his management.
Yeah,
Wow.
it was like huge.
Yeah,
I
it
always
was
thought they
huge.
would get back together. I always thought that it would be them that got back together instead
Not
of Ben and
Bennifer?
Jit. Yeah, I always thought I was like, she just wants to come back to Puffy. They'll get back together.
Is that what you
It's
thought?
probably a good thing she
It
didn't.
is. It is.
Yep.
Oy vey.
Well, they dated from 99 to 2001.
Yeah, it was.
And then,
It was something like that. Yeah,
yep,
it was about
2013, rumor was they were back together in 2013.
And that
That's
might
what
have
it
been it,
was. Yeah.
Yeah, I know it wasn't
Yeah.
6 years. It's about 2 years.
Yeah.
It was huge.
And 2019, they were seen together again.
Yeah.
So they've had a long checkered history.
So wait,
Well,
2019,
2019, she was
that
back to Ben
post-Mark-
Affleck, right?
That's when, yeah, but she was meeting Puffy.
Mm.
Who knows? Who
On the
knows what this
side?
means? Who knows?
Yeah, we don't
Maybe they friends,
Side salad.
know.
friends. You know,
Was Ben Affleck being friends with oh god, now I just blanked on her name.
With Puffy, maybe. Who
No,
knows?
no.
Who
With
knows?
Jennifer Garner or somebody? I don't know.
Well, that's his ex-wife too. So like,
I was thinking of Shakespeare in
Yeah.
Love. That's what I was thinking.
oh, like Gwyneth
I mean,
Paltrow.
Gwyneth
I mean,
Paltrow.
they
I
have
kept wanting to
kids
say Gwen
together too,
Stefani.
though, right?
Yeah, her
Yeah.
and he and whatchamacallit have kids. Jennifer Garner
Yeah,
have
they
kids.
have 3
Yeah.
kids. Yeah.
And a Daredevil movie too. You know.
And a
Yeah.
Daredevil movie.
He's rumored to be in Deadpool.
Yeah.
He's
there's-
rumored to
there's
be in
Rumored to be in
Deadpool 3.
Deadpool.
3,
Yeah.
yeah, as Elektra from the Daredevil movie. Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
I'm
So,
definitely looking. I just like there's such a long list of rumors of who might be in the
Yeah.
Deadpool movie.
Oh, somebody's saying the problem was that there was no hologram. She was on a traditional flat screen, but people did
traditional
like the
flat-
music.
I thought they made
Oh.
a hologram with her. Oh, okay, she was just on traditional flat screen.
Yeah.
It's even worse then.
That's pretty. Yeah, I mean, and granted, yeah, it's still just a typical projection, but still, yeah, I mean,
yeah, they're skimping. So they're like, yeah. So they somehow skimped on this whole experience.
but I'm like,
so-
I'm seeing those like video fans everywhere, like every
Yeah.
like swap meet you go to now, and it's like they've got those video fan projection screens. It's like
Mhm.
it's not
Yeah, I thought
expensive
they had
tech
holograms
anymore.
up there too, dancing.
Yeah.
Well, see, I
hologram,
guess
too.
it's the
Then
thing.
it goes
It's
to the
like,
screen and then she comes back and dancing hologram again.
if you expected all of that and you only just got her on the screen, it's like I could have stayed at home and watched her on television.
Right.
Yeah. Save some money.
Right, like yeah. So I could see why fans would be mad about the experience.
Totally.
But
totally.
the
fans,
whole
no,
concept
this
is
not
still pretty wild, though, right?
this
Think about
this
that.
this is
You're-
a new concert. She has toured before. She's had sold out tours before for
Yeah, that's
years.
what I'm saying. It's like, yeah, I just looked up a YouTube video. It's like 10
Yeah.
10 years ago. It's got 16
Right,
million
yeah, she's-
views of a
yeah,
concert,
she's-
her in concert.
yeah,
And it's like,
she's
Right, that's what I'm saying.
big.
Right.
Yeah.
So you paid what $600 to go
I
to
mean,
watch
that's
an
what
old
I'm saying,
YouTube
right?
video.
Like,
Yeah.
it's such
Yeah.
a crazy concept when you think about
Yeah,
it, right?
Well, and
It's
you know,
like-
and
People are
especially when you
paying-
know-
and they're fans of the, you know what I mean? They're fans of this quote unquote singer. That they
She's
go
going
to
to be
these
performing at
concerts.
Coachella.
Yeah.
at Coachella.
That's what
All right.
that's what Defunct 12 says.
Yeah. I can imagine that.
Yeah.
I mean,
She's huge.
It is.
She's
it
not
is kind
small.
of an interesting, like kind of a social experiment, though, too, right? Because I mean, we know so many of these pop stars are the creation of a team, right? They have a
Yeah.
songwriter writing
Or
the
like
songs.
boy bands.
They
and
have some
stuff,
boy bands, like
Oh.
these are producer driven, right? And so now it's just like the artifice is
So
100%, right?
this
just kinda
is what
interesting.
Google's giving back to me about her. The measure of her popularity, worldwide mega stardom. Over 14-year career, the Japanese diva has uploaded 170,000 YouTube music videos for
Wow.
1.55 million subscribers, amassing more than 2.3 million followers on Facebook, and releasing a staggering 100,000 songs.
Are they all AI
100,000
generated songs?
Yeah, they probably are. They
Wow.
probably are. They probably
Imagine
are.
it's a team behind it the same way.
Oh yeah, there's a
Yeah,
whole team.
yeah,
There's a
any
whole team.
pop star there is, and they just have it going
Yeah,
through like
yeah.
a hologram.
Yeah, but most pop
The
stars
little-
don't
little
have
cartoon character,
100,000
little
songs.
cartoon character. She's the cartoon
I'm-
character.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm out of the YouTube, her YouTube channel. That just sounds so funny. That just sounds so funny, right? Her YouTube channel, and she's here. Her next concert is April 17th at the Shrine
Yeah.
in LA.
You gonna go to it, Rodney? You want to go
I
to
don't
it?
know.
Let's go check it out. Let's go
I don't
check it
know.
out. Let's go
But
check
you
it
know,
out.
I'm a purist though. I need the full. I need the full hologram experience. None of this 2D
No,
stuff.
not just the 2D.
Not the 2D stuff. That's crazy. Yeah.
Yes,
Wow.
so
I think it would be interesting to see. Would I pay money to do that? I don't know. But it would be interesting to see this like it's almost like an anthropological
Yeah,
sort of,
right.
you know, thing,
Yeah.
right?
Not my circus, not my monkeys.
yeah. I met the creator of her though.
Oh,
I did
really?
meet the creator. Yeah, the creator came to an early Oculus event.
Oh
was
wow.
Oculus Connect.
Ah.
And like Oculus Connect 2, and they were there, and we were just sitting there talking about her. It was very
And-
See, it makes more sense in something like Oculus to me because
Yeah.
you're entering like a fantasy world, right? It's kind of like
Yeah.
Ready Player One type.
she has VR
But I mean,
experiences.
when you think about it too, right? Like the idea of this is that you create a pop star that anyone has direct access to, who can make it a personalized experience, right?
Mhm.
Does she have stalkers?
She does.
Oh my
She does
god.
she has stalkers and fans, and you know.
Oh my god. You guys, this
Yeah.
is how Skynet starts. I give up.
I mean, we're already there, you
Yeah, I'm about
all.
to say,
We're
I mean, we
already
pretty
there.
much are, yeah.
Yeah, we just
Right
got to create the
there.
time machine. That's the problem. And at what
What
point?
was that thing? Was like we have
Uh,
AI backwards. I
Right.
want AI to do my laundry and dishes so that I can write and
Right, and do all
and,
my art.
and create and do art, not so that AI can do art and write and I have to do laundry and dishes. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So if you want to hear more of that, stick around for Geek Beasts. They're going to be on in just a minute. Thanks for joining us here on the Geekish Network. Please follow Geekish Network on YouTube and Facebook and subscribe to the channel. Thanks for joining us here on Monday nights. We'll be back next week talking about more episodes of Bad Batch and any more new news that comes out as we get closer to May the 4th. And thanks on the flight deck to Rodney. We are the Pod Squadron. Please check out all of our content on podsquadron.com. Like and subscribe. Follow us on X, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. For podcast subscriptions, you can subscribe on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, or your favorite podcast app. I am the Chinese Pirate at Chinese Pirate _ on all platforms.
I am Tracy the Hot Nerd Girl, and it's always so much fun to watch you rattle through all that, Andy.
Indeed. Now, and yes, with spaceships behind me and all that. And all wings return to base, course laid in and prepared to make jump to light speed on my mark. And remember, the truths we cling to depend on your own point of view. Only the Sith deal in absolutes. Good night from Batu.
Yay! Have fun.
Fill
Have
the
a good show.
spire.